නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස යමිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වඅන්තලික්ඛේ සබ්බේව භූතා සුමනා භවන්තු අතෝපි සක්කච්ච සුනන්තු භාසිතං තස්මාහි භූතානි සාමේත සබ්බේ මෙත්තං කරෝත මානුසියා පජාය දිවාච රත්තෝච හරන්ති යේ බලින් තස්මාහි නේරක්කත අප්පමත්තා යං කිංචි විත්තං ඉදවා හුරං වා සග්ගේසු වායං රතනං පනීතං නනෝ සමං අත්ති තථාගතේන ඉදම්පි බුද්දේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු khයං විරාගං අමතං පනීතං යදජ්ජගා සක්්‍ය මුනි සමාහිතෝ නතේන ධම්මේන සමත්ථිකින්චි ඉදම්පි ධම්මේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යම් බුද්ධ සෙට්ඨෝ පරිවන්නයි සුචින් සමාධිමානන්තරිකඤ්ඤමාහු සමාධිනාතේන සමෝ න විජ්ජති ඉදම්පි ධම්මේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යේ පුග්ගලා අට්ඨ සතම්පසත්තා චත්තාරි ඒතානි යුගානි හොන්ති තේ දක්ඛිනෙය්‍යා සුගතස්ස ශාවකා ඒතේසු දින්නානි මහඵලානි ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යේ සුප්පයුත්තා මනසා දල්හේන නික්ඛාමිනෝ ගෝතම සාසනම්හි තේ පත්තිපත්තා අමතං විගය්‍ය ලද්දා මුදා නිබ්බුතින් පුඤ්ඤමානා ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යතින්ද කීලෝ පඨවින්සිතෝසියා චතුබ්බිවාතේහි අසම්පකම්පියෝ තථූපමං සප්පුරිසං වදාමි යෝ අරිය සච්චානි අවිච්ඡ පස්සති ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යේ අරිය සච්චානි විභාවයන්ති ගම්භීර පඤ්ඤේන සුදේසිතානි කිංචාපිතේ හොන්ති බුසප්පමත්තා නතේ භවං අට්ඨමං ආදියන්ති ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු සහවස්ස දස්සන සම්පදාය තයස්සු ධම්මා ජහිතා භවಂತಿ සක්කාය දිට්ඨි විචිකිච්ඡිතං ච සීලබ්බතං වාපි යදත්ථි කිංචි චතුහපායේ ච විප්පමුත්තෝ චචාබිඨානානි අභබ්බෝ කාතුං ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කිංචාපිසෝ කම්මං කරෝති පාපකං කායේන වාචා උදචේතසාවා අභබ්බෝ සෝතස්ස පටිච්චාදාය අභබ්බතා දිට්ඨ පදස්ස වුත්තා ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වනප්පගුම්බේ යතා පුස්සිතග්ගේ ගිම්හාන මාසේ පඨමස්මින් ගිම්මේ තතුපමං ධම්ම වරං අදේශයි නිබ්බානගාමින් පරමං හිතාය ඉදම්පි බුද්ධේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වරෝ වරඤ්ඤෝ වරදෝ වරහරෝ අනුත්තරෝ ධම්ම වරං අදේශයි ඉදම්පි බුද්ධේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කීනං පුරාණං නවං නත්ති සම්භවං විරත් චිත්තා ආයතිකේ භවස්මින් තේ කීන බීජා අවිරුල්හි ඡන්දා නිබ්බන්ති ධීරා යථායං ප්‍රදීපෝ ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානිව අන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං බුද්ධං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු यानीद भूतानि समागतानि बुम्मानि वायानि व अन्तलिखे तथागतं देव मनुष्य पूजितं धम्मं नमस्साम सुवत्ति होतु यानीद भूतानि समागतानि बुम्मानि वायानि व अन्तलिखे तथागतं देव मनुष्य पूजितं संघं नमस्साम सुवत्ति होतु साधु साधु साधु.
Buddha's Gospel of Good Life. There was once a man who was very frustrated with life. Every morning, he wakes up sad and unhappy with himself and everything around him. He prayed really hard to God and said, "Oh God, give me the strength to find you so that I can live happily and enjoy my life." And so, he set off on a journey of discovery, away from all the anxiety and misery that he sees on television and everywhere around him. He walked north from his village, looking for guidance from anyone who can show him a sign of God and help him inch his way towards happiness. Not too long on his journey, he came across a blind man who was walking joyfully. "Excuse me, sir," he said, "I see that you are really happy. You must be able to help me with the problem I have." "Of course, son. Tell me what your problem is," he asked. "I am always feeling unhappy. Every time I watch the news, I see evil and misery. Every time I step out of my house, I see cheating, unfairness, and all these things that make me very anxious. There are wars everywhere and diseases claiming lives. I wish I can find God, happiness, and everything nice. Can you tell me how?" The blind man smiled and said, "You are very lucky to have been blessed with the great gift of eyes. I wish I could see the beautiful flowers I smell right now, or look at the amazing sun rays that I feel on my skin. But on the contrary, people use their eyes to look at unsacred objects and evil persons. They fill themselves with bad thoughts and become prey to evil tendencies. What one sees influences the feelings in the heart. The state of the heart determines the nature of one's thoughts. The thoughts influence one's life. Hence, to lead a good and happy life, the first requirement is a pure vision. Look at me. I am always happy thinking of all the good things in life." The man felt really grateful. He said, "My dear sir, you have taught me something really important today. From today, I am only going to look for the goodness in my vision." He walked on further into the forest. He did have another nagging doubt within him. He can see all the goodness he wants in the world, but when he interacts with people, he always finds that his relationships don't last. His family, friends, and everyone he comes across becomes a hurdle for him. He wished he can be friends with everyone. Just then, he saw a group of friends. Everyone was angry and arguing with each other. However, one of the boys was smiling and sitting a bit further away on a bench. He approached the boy and said, "I see those boys are saying bad things to you, but how could you stay so calm?" The boy said, "I like to look at things differently, sir." The man got excited and said, "Tell me more." When you look at a situation, just think calmly and respond from the heart. There is no use throwing words that hurt others and ultimately make you unhappy. The tongue has been given to speak the truth. It's not given for talking as one likes. It is not used for causing displeasure to others. Although they are saying bad things and getting angry, I can still choose to stay silent. Words are to be used wisely. The man felt so happy. It was only a short time in his journey and he has learned some important lessons. A pure mind is essential for pure thoughts, pure vision, and pure speech. He then thought, I think I have found the secret to happiness. I will see good and speak good. That's it. As he was about to turn around and walk back, he heard a booming voice from the sky.
Remember, my child, man has to make the right use of his senses for sacred purposes to realize his divinity. Purify the vision so your thoughts are pure and then move on to acquire sacred speech.
Yes, God, is that you? I learned that lesson from two amazing people I met.
But that's not all. Once you have these two, you will then need to put them into action. Buddha emphasized goodness in action. The mark of good action is harmony in thought, word, and deed. When there is no such harmony, the action belies what is said or thought. When these three are aligned, you are on your way to good spiritual progress. Buddha declared that when spiritual striving of this nature has been completed, we can lead a pure and happy life.
The man was overjoyed. He took one step in finding divinity, and God responded immediately and showed him the steps to become happy and blissful in life. Swami spoke about Buddha's Gospel of Good Life in February 1998, explaining the 5 steps of sense control that lead to happy and a good life. Good vision, sacred speech, good action, good spiritual progress, leading a pure life.
Sairam. The journey that Siddhartha Gautama undertook in the 6th century BC led him to discover self-enlightenment under a Bodhi tree. His was the eternal quest to escape suffering in the material world. It was this journey that led him to become the Buddha, the awakened one. The actual practice of the Eightfold Path is the Buddha's central teaching. In the Dhammapada, it is written, "This is the path. There is no other that leads to the purification of the mind. Follow this path and conquer Mara. This path will lead to the end of suffering." The Eightfold Path is right vision, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. It is the path of the noble. Today, the young adults will take you on a journey through these paths.
Today I will be speaking to you about right view. So right view is the first of 8 Buddhist practices known as the Noble Eightfold Path. So right view simply means to see and understand things as they really are, and to have the wisdom to look at our existence through the lens of the 4 Noble Truths. So this involves knowing that suffering is a universal characteristic of human existence. To know that this suffering that we all go through is caused by attachment and desire. To understand that there is a way to transcend this suffering, and to know that transcending that suffering is by means of following the Eightfold Path. So, if we can't see properly, the actions we take are bound to be incongruent with our intentions, whatever they may be. So, right view is that vision, that knowing which helps steer our behavior towards enlightenment, to steer our thoughts, to steer our actions and words so that they may be in congruence with our spiritual goals. So, Vietnamese Zen teacher Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, "Our happiness and the happiness of those around us is dependent on our degree of right view. Touching reality deeply, knowing what is going on inside and outside of ourselves is the way to liberate ourselves from suffering that is caused by wrong perceptions. Right view is not an ideology, a system, or even a path. It is the insight that we have into the reality of life, a living insight that fills us with understanding, peace, and love. So with this understanding of right view in our minds, understanding the reality of our existence, let us orient ourselves towards moving towards love and truth with compassion and empathy in our hearts.
All we are is a result of what we have thought. According to Lord Buddha, our thoughts are very powerful. They determine our mental states such as happiness or sadness, and then our actions. With this understanding, Lord Buddha asks us to have the right intentions. Buddha describes two types of thought: wandering thought, known as vichara, and logical or directed thought, known as vitakka. Normally, our minds are filled with scattered, random, wandering thoughts, and we have little say in what they are or what they will be next. But when we have a task to do or a problem to solve, our will takes hold of us and directs our thoughts in a particular direction. But usually, as soon as the task is finished or the problem is solved, the will subsides and our thoughts begin their erratic wandering again. One way to curtail these meandering thoughts is to fill our days with tasks and to complete each task one after another with one pointed attention. The traffic is curtailed into a steady stream that travels in one direction, and then it becomes easier to direct them towards the good.
Right action. Just do it. Sure, but do what? Do the right thing, man. Easy. Wait, what's the right thing? Okay, fine. Don't do the wrong thing. Obviously.
I personally connected most with right action from the Noble Eightfold Path. Possibly because I felt it's intertwined with the right speech and right thought. I felt action is something we have some sort of control over. I suppose we have control over nothing in life, but we can make a conscious effort to do the right thing. The universal concepts of not to kill, not to lie, not to steal, I feel that's a given. Everyone or most of us know and have some common sense. But from what Swami says, there are two types of actions. One that binds you and the action that liberates you. I'm assuming the one that binds us are the more materialistic thoughts or actions, whereas the one that liberates us is selfless service or seva. And I connect most with that. I feel the right action or doing the right thing is about being mindful, is about being kind, and most importantly, about having no ego. It could be something as simple as saying hi to someone at at work, someone who feels neglected, helping someone when they really need it. And like Swami says, or like many people say, it always comes back to help us in the end.
I'll be talking about right livelihood as a part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Buddha encouraged his disciples to engage in compassionate activity and to make their living in a way that is ethically positive and doesn't cause harm. Another quote about right livelihood is that almost everyone's life includes an economic dimension, work and a career. It's important to assess how our work can affect our mind and heart. How can it become meaningful? And how can it support and not hinder our spiritual practice? How can we make that happen? With love. Loving the work, whatever it is that Swami has entrusted us to do. To not forget to inquire as to who exactly is doing the work. Who am I? To have the right vision, seeing everyone we work with and for as simply Swami in disguise. To make the effort to enact our duties to the best of our ability. To always be willing to learn and grow from the many mistakes along our journey. To have the integrity and honesty to foster unity within our thoughts, words and deeds. To keep an open mind and remain optimistic, seeing Swami in every situation, be it good or bad. And finally, to find ways to grow our love for Swami and grow our devotion. Following these ideals as best we can help ensure our livelihoods are nothing but an extension of our sadhana and a continuation of our journey to Swami.
Right effort, samavayamu. Right effort, also called right diligence, is the sixth component of Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path. The traditional definition of right effort is to exert oneself to develop wholesome qualities and release unwholesome qualities. Buddha taught there are four aspects to right effort. The effort to prevent unwholesome qualities from arising, especially greed, anger, and ignorance. The effort to extinguish unwholesome qualities that have already arisen. The effort to cultivate skillful or wholesome qualities such as generosity, loving kindness, and wisdom that have not yet arisen. The effort to strengthen the wholesome qualities that have already arisen. Effort is the highlighting word. Looking at the Eightfold Path, right effort supports the other seven paths. Swami says, human effort and divine grace are needed to achieve success in any endeavor. Though butter is present in the milk, one cannot see it unless one makes it into curd and churns it. Likewise, though divinity is all-pervasive, one cannot experience it unless one makes appropriate efforts. Human effort can be compared to the process of churning. As a young adult, I make an effort to practice Swami's teachings on a daily basis. To conclude, by making an effort to be a good human being is making a step towards God. In return, God will make 100 steps towards us.
Mindfulness is a complete awareness of all movements that happen within and outside of oneself. According to the Buddhist scriptures, right mindfulness is to remain focused on these things continuously without getting involved with them and without being attached to them. Right mindfulness is a development of an accurate and precise awareness of the present moment, not distracted by ideas, memories, beliefs, expectations, and just to experience as it is. There are many ways of incorporating mindfulness in your routine. My top 5 tips for practicing mindfulness in your life include getting up and making your bed, taking mini breaks throughout the day, avoid doing too many things at a time, creating a journal, and finally, drawing attention to your breathing. This brings me to the Soham mantra, also known as the Hamsa Gayatri. So means that, and Hum means I am. The beauty of this meditation is that you can do it anywhere and at any time.
ఈ ఈశ్వరత్వము మానవుని యొక్క శ్వాస నుండి సోహం 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 అనేటువంటి శబ్దంతో మనకు గోచరిస్తుండాలి.
The divinity is present in the very breath of man in the form of Soham.
In the Noble Eightfold Path, Lord Buddha taught right concentration as the state of one-pointedness and as the doorway to deep meditation. Swami, in a discourse to his students in the hostel on June 29, 1989, said that concentration could be practiced and done by anyone, anywhere. He broke it down for us into steps. The first step, dharana. Next, dhyana. And finally, samadhi. Swami says that dharana is concentration. He says dhyana is deep contemplation, and ultimately samadhi, equal-mindedness. Swami told his students to practice dharana by choosing an object and concentrating intensely on it for 12 seconds. He used the example of Ramana Maharishi, who used to concentrate on a dot daily intensely for 12 seconds. 12 dharanas becomes 1 dhyana, and 12 dhyanas becomes samadhi. Swami says of the simplicity of the practice, you put a thermometer inside your mouth for 2 minutes when you're sick. Can't you concentrate on an object for 2 minutes? If you keep practicing more and more and more, you will attain samadhi.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham sharanam gacchami, dhammam sharanam gacchami, sangham sharanam gacchami.
गौरी नंदन बाल गजानन, गौरी नंदन बाल गजानन, गजवदना गणनाथ गजानन, गजवदना गणनाथ पाहि गजानन गणपते पाहि गजानन गजानना पाहि गजानना गजानना पाहि गजानना गजानना पाहि गजानना गजानना पाहि गजानना गौरी नंदन बाल गजानन गोविंद बोलो गोपाल बोलो गोपाल बोलो राम नाम बोलो हरि नाम बोलो अल्लाह साई यीशु नानक अल्लाह साई यीशु नानक ज़ोराष्ट्र महावीर बुद्ध नाम बोलो ज़ोराष्ट्र महावीर बुद्ध नाम बोलो गोविंद बोलो गोपाल बोलो ये नाम सारे हैं जीवन सहारे ये नाम सारे हैं जीवन सहारे परमानंद के ये खोलते हैं द्वारे परमानंद के ये खोलते हैं द्वारे जो नाम चाहो वो नाम बोलो जो नाम चाहो वो नाम बोलो प्रेम से बोलो भाव से बोलो प्रेम से बोलो भाव से बोलो गोविंद बोलो गोपाल बोलो राम नाम बोलो हरि नाम बोलो अल्लाह साई यीशु नानक ज़ोराष्ट्र महावीर बुद्ध नाम बोलो ये नाम सारे हैं जीवन सहारे परमानंद के ये खोलते हैं द्वारे जो नाम चाहो वो नाम बोलो प्रेम से बोलो भाव से बोलो से बोलो, गोविंद बोलो, गोपाल बोलो।
जगदीश हरे जय हो,
जगदीश हरे जय हो,
जगदीश हरे जय हो,
जगदीश हरे जय हो,
जगदोद्धारा जय जय हो,
जगदोद्धारा जय जय हो,
जगदोद्धारा जय जय हो,
जगदोद्धारा जय जय हो,
जगदीश हरे जय हो,
जगदीश हरे जय हो,
अल्लाह ईशो नानक साई,
यीशु नानक साई,
अल्लाह ईशो नानक साई,
यीशु नानक साई,
अंतर्यामी बुद्ध महावीर,
अंतर्यामी बुद्ध महावीर,
अंतर्यामी बुद्ध महावीर,
अंतर्यामी बुद्ध महावीर,
सौराष्ट्र सर्वधर्म प्रिय देवा,
सौराष्ट्र सर्वधर्म प्रिय देवा,
सौराष्ट्र सर्वधर्म प्रिय देवा,
सौराष्ट्र सर्वधर्म प्रिय देवा,
प्रशांति निवासा सत्य साई देवा,
शांति निवासा सत्य साई देवा,
प्रशांति निवासा सत्य साई देवा,
शांति निवासा सत्य साई देवा,
जय हो जय हो,
जय हो,
जय हो जय हो,
जय हो,
जय हो जय हो,
जय हो, जय हो,
जय हो जय हो,
जय हो, जय हो,
जगदीश हरे जय हो,
जगदीश हरे जय हो,
जगदोद्धारा जय जय हो,
जगदोद्धारा जय जय हो,
जगदीश हरे जय हो,
जगदीश हरे जय हो,
अल्लाह ईशो नानक साई,
यीशु नानक साई,
अंतर्यामी बुद्ध महावीर,
अंतर्यामी बुद्ध महावीर,
सौराष्ट्र सर्वधर्म प्रिय देवा,
सर्वधर्म प्रिय देवा,
प्रशांति निवासा सत्य साई देवा,
शांति निवासा सत्य साई देवा,
जय हो जय हो,
जय हो,
जय हो जय हो,
जय हो, जय हो,
जय हो जय हो,
जय हो,
जय हो जय हो,
जय हो, जय हो,
जगदीश हरे जय हो। साई नाम बोलो, गोविंद नाम बोलो,
साई नाम बोलो, गोविंद नाम बोलो,
साई नाम बोलो, गोविंद नाम बोलो,
साई
महादेव बोलो जय पांडुरंग बोलो
महादेव बोलो जय पांडुरंग बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
राम कृष्ण बोलो जय बुद्ध साई 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 बोलो
सौराष्ट्र महावीर येशु 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 साई बोलो
अल्लाह साई बोलो मौला 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 साई बोलो
प्रेम साई शांतिदाई सत्य 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 साई बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
महादेव बोलो जय पांडुरंग बोलो
महादेव बोलो जय पांडुरंग बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
राम कृष्ण बोलो जय बुद्ध साई बोलो
राम कृष्ण बोलो जय बुद्ध साई बोलो
सौराष्ट्र महावीर येशु साई बोलो
सौराष्ट्र महावीर येशु साई बोलो
अल्लाह साई बोलो मौला 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 साई बोलो
प्रेम साई शांतिदाई सत्य 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 साई बोलो
गोविंद बोलो गोपाल 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 बोलो
प्रेम साई शांतिदाई सत्य साई बोलो साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं 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 साईनाथ भगवान
साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
बुद्धं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाई शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाई शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाई शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाई शरणं गच्छामि
साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं साईनाथ भगवान
सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं साईनाथ भगवान
साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाई शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाई शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाई शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाई शरणं गच्छामि
साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా,
embodiments of love.
చంద్రమును రగిలించిన కొలది దాని యందు ఇమిడి ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక సుగంధము బయటపడుతుంది.
As you grind the sandalwood, you will experience its fragrance more and more.
నిష్టం నిష్టం పునరపి పునః స్వాదు చైవేచ్చుకాండం. చెరకును నమిలిన కొలది దాని ఎందున్నటువంటి మాధుర్య రసము మనకెంతయో ఆనందమును చేకూరుస్తుంది.
As you chew the sugar cane more and more, you will enjoy its sweetness.
దగ్ధం దగ్ధం పునరపి పునః కాంచనం కాంతివర్ణం. బంగారును మనం కరిగించుకున్నది మూసపోసుకున్నది పవిత్రమై కాంతివర్ణమైనటువంటి యొక్క కనకంగా తయారవుతుంది.
As gold is heated and melted, it shines brilliantly.
అటులనే ప్రతి మానవుడు కూడాను జీవులను ప్రేమించుకున్నది తన యందున్నటువంటి ఆనందము బహిర్ముఖమవుతుంది.
Similarly, as man starts loving the fellow beings more and more, he will be blissful more and more.
జీవులను ఎంత అధికంగా మీరు ప్రేమింతురో మీ ఆనందం కూడాను అంత అధికంగా పెంపొందుతుంది.
Your bliss increases as you love your fellow beings more.
కనుక ఆనందమును అభివృద్ధి గావించుకున్న వాళ్ళని కోరేవారు అందరినీ కూడాను ప్రేమించాలి.
If you want to be blissful, you must love all.
అది భగవత్ సన్నిధిని చేర్చేటువంటి యొక్క రాయల మార్గము.
This is the royal path that takes you to the proximity
The best
to the
way
divine.
to love God is to love all, serve all.
The best way to God is to love all and serve all.
ఇది బుద్ధుడు బోధించినటువంటి యొక్క రహస్యం.
This is the secret in the teachings of Buddha.
బుద్ధం శరణం గచ్ఛామి, సంఘం శరణం గచ్ఛామి, ధర్మం శరణం గచ్ఛామి. మొట్టమొదట మనం బుద్ధిని అభివృద్ధి పరచుకోవాలి.
Out of the three maxims, the first one, Buddham Saranam Gacchami, we have to increase our intellect.
ఆ బుద్ధిని సంఘ మార్గమునందు అభివృద్ధి పరచుకోవాలి.
The intellect has got to be developed in society.
ఈ సంఘమును ధర్మంతో కూర్చి ఆనందించాలి.
In society, we can enjoy the bliss in a righteous way.
ఏ ప్రాణిని కూడాను మనం బాధ పెట్టకూడదు.
We should not hurt any living creature.
హర్ట్ నెవర్, హెల్ప్ ఎవర్.
Hurt never, help ever.
ఇది ఏ బుద్ధుని యొక్క ప్రధానమైన అహింస పరమో ధర్మ.
This is the main teaching of Buddha, which says that principle of non-violence
ఎవరిని
is
కూడాను
supreme.
మానసికంగా, శారీరకంగా, వాక్రీతిగా కూడాను బలహీనం చేయకూడదు, బాధ పెట్టకూడదు.
We should never weaken anybody. We should never hurt anybody by thought, word and deed.
కానీ ఇది సాధ్యమా అని మీరు సంకల్పించవచ్చును. సాధ్యమే.
You may say, is it possible? Yes, it is possible.
దృఢ సంకల్పంతో చేయాలని అనుకున్నప్పుడు ఎటువంటి ఘనకార్యమైన కూడాను మనం సులభంగా సాధించవచ్చు.
If you have strong determination, you can certainly achieve any mighty task.
అందరి యందు ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక దైవత్వము ఒక్కడే అనేటువంటి సత్యాన్ని గుర్తించుకున్నప్పుడు ఇట్టి దీనికి ఏమాత్రమూ భయపడనక్కర్లేదు.
When once you know God is one in everyone, you don't need to be afraid of anyone.
నారాయణుని ఆశ్రయించినటువంటి వాడు ప్రహ్లాదుడు.
Prahlada surrendered himself to God Narayana.
నామరూపములను ఆశ్రయించినటువంటి వాడు హిరణ్యకశిపుడు.
Hiranyakashipu was after the name and form of God.
నామరూపములు ఏనాటికైనా కూడా అశాశ్వతమే.
The name and form at any time is temporary.
నారాయణుడు నిరంతరము సత్యస్వరూపుడే.
Narayana is the very personification of truth.
భగవంతునికి గల అనేక నామములు యందు సత్ చిత్ ఆనందం అనేటువంటిది పరమోత్తమైనటువంటి నామం.
Of all the names of God, the highest and the noblest of God name is this Sat Chit Ananda.
సత్ అనగా త్రికాల భాగ్యమైనటువంటిది.
Sat means which is
భూత
indivisible,
భవిష్యత్
changeless.
వర్తమానములు యందు కూడాను మార్పు కలగనటువంటిది సత్.
Sat is that which is changeless in all the three periods of time.
అట్టి మార్పు చెందినటువంటి సత్తును సత్య మార్గమునందే ఈ సత్తును మనం అనుభవించాలి.
Sat can be experienced along the path of truth.
చిత్
The Chit,
పరిపూర్ణ జ్ఞానము.
total awareness.
ఈ పరిపూర్ణ జ్ఞానము చేతనే మనం పరిపూర్ణ స్వరూపుణ్ణి దర్శించాలి.
Out of this total awareness, you can experience the manifestation of the totality of the divinity.
ఇంకా ఈ రెండింటినీ మనం అనుభవించిన తర్వాత ఆనందము మన నుండి ఆవిర్భవిస్తుంది.
When once you experience these two, naturally you'll find the bliss.
కనుక సత్తును సత్తుతోన, చిత్తును చిత్తుతోన, ఆనందమును ఆనందంతోన మనం అనుభవించినప్పుడే సత్ చిత్ ఆనంద స్వరూపుడు సాక్షాత్కరిస్తాడు.
When once we worship God along the path of truth, Sat, in totality of awareness, Chit, naturally will experience bliss, Ananda.
ప్రతి మానవుడు కూడాను ఆనందమును ఆశిస్తున్నాడు.
Every man wants to be blissful.
ఈ ఆనందం ఎక్కడి నుంచి ఉన్నది?
Where from you get it?
మనం పుట్టినదే ఆనందం నుంచి పుట్టాము.
In fact, we are born in bliss.
జీవించుతున్నదే ఆనందంలో జీవిస్తున్నాము.
We live in bliss.
అంత్యం కూడాను ఆనందం నందే అంత్యమవుతున్నాము.
We end in bliss.
కనుక మన జీవితమే ఆనందమయము.
In fact, our life is of bliss.
మన జీవిత గమ్యాన్ని మనం గుర్తించుకోవటము కష్టం కాదు.
It's not difficult to know the goal of life.
జీవిత గమ్యమును ఎవరు కూడాను మరువలేరు.
No one can forget the destination of life.
కనుక ఆనందమునే మనం ఆశించాలి, ఆనందమునే అనుభవించాలి, ఆనందం నందే లీనం కావాలి.
Therefore, we should strive for bliss, we should experience bliss and end in bliss.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपदान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे मातपिता गुरुदैवमु मरियन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्रशयन ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी हो साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल आरती अंधुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
Just a reminder, we are now live on YouTube and Facebook. You can search on YouTube for Sai Organisation of Australia. Please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to receive updates and reminders of our upcoming inspirational programs. On Facebook, please search for Sai Organisation of Australia and like and follow our account. Please visit our website on sai.org.au to keep updated with upcoming programs in the 96 Days devotional offerings, news of our service activities, and inspirational updates.